Welcome back, guys. My name is Demitry Sebastian.
And I'm Wes Kendall.
And we are back in session where your fitness and lifestyle questions are answered and bro science is put to the test. So we are rolling straight into this.
Yes.
Because this is an important question that we've talked about multiple times. We've brought it up all the time. We always bring it up as like, it's so simple. It's like, of course you know this. And it's not obvious at all because the question becomes, the gym, we go there. We're smart. We're fit. I go when I can. I go after work and I get an hour or two in, and I'm totally not on Instagram the entire time.
Oh, man.
But how often should I be there? How long should I be there? What should I be doing while I'm there? And it seemed obvious to me, but I also have been doing this since, like we'll call it like 2009. And it was back when you were like with your high school bros, and I'm sure there's someone older out there that's sitting there like crying. But, we're there, we're doing shrugs wrong, and we're hanging out, and we're breaking equipment. Yes. And it doesn't really matter at that point. But when you become an adult and you've got a family, you've got things to do, you got to use that time efficiently.
You got to get in, get out, get back to your life, basically.
That was you last week. You're sitting there like, hey, man, I got to go actually work out because I'm on a schedule. And that's because you actually know your life and actually have some control over it, unlike some people in this room. But
all people in this room.
All people in this room.
Exactly. Who are we kidding?
There's a Wes just is already living there, so he can just jam it in.
Well, I'm already in the gym, so it's like, well, I can kind of have it easier to schedule.
I don't think we mentioned that recently. You were in there doing some, some modified bench. I think you had your hands switched back, which I ended up doing myself. I highly overestimated how strong I was at that movement.
Yeah.
It was also at the end of my workout, and I did it, and I was just like, oh, I'm not as strong as Wes, turns out. But I walked in there and I was like, hey, what's up, man? And you're like, hey, perfect timing. I've got a client in like 15 minutes and I got to wrap this up and I don't want to drop it on my face.
It was a good spot and it was perfect timing. I was about to risk my life. So thank you.
Hey, you know what? I got to risk it for the biscuit.
Yes, I appreciate that.
You got to understand if that chair's empty, things start going wrong really fast for me.
Yeah.
Because then people are going to listener question, Demitry, what do I do if I'm in a metabolic state where I can't? It's like, first of all, that was a $3 word. We're going to need to go and pump the brakes. I've got to do about 3 Google searches.
Metabolic.
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Metabolic.
Now spell it. If you can do that, you've earned your wages. Don't do it.
Gonna try.
So let's go and start with the basics. Yes. I am a gym goer. I do what I want to do. I'm happy. I have like a bit of a rhythm going. How many days do I need to be there? Because my thought process, and I used to always think, is that 5 days, 2 days off, because Saturdays are for the boys, Sundays are for paying penance for the decisions I make all week. Right. But I've also gotten to the point now where like work's crazy. I've got this going on. I've got so many things. I've actually got to the point where I'm actually really only going like 3, maybe 4 times. And I actually don't feel like that's a problem. Okay. But I'm also hitting it harder. So where's the pros and cons, the high and low number of days?
Well, I would think that, you have to decide one, how often you can hit each muscle group, which depending on your style of training is important. And 2, just as you said, like how much recovery do you need?
All of it.
Excuse me. So basically what's going on is like, I think most of the time people, should be shooting somewhere between the 4 and 5 day mark. Okay. That's pretty ideal for most cases. 6 can happen if you're not like trying to get stronger or gain size. Like if you're doing more of like shredding or cutting type option.
I was about to say, are there any other things you could be doing? Turns out getting skinny is one of them.
Yep. But also, a good option would be like if you're doing, 4 or 5 times a week, that's more for like building or getting stronger. Like a lot of powerlifters do like 4 times a week or, 5 times a week for like, all the major muscle groups. That's like the typical bro workout.
I bring it up all the time because it's just something I love in this world is the 5-3-1. Like power lifters, you do each major lift and then you have an additional day for your accessory work.
Right.
Or you just don't. That's sort of how it looks in that world. So does that facilitate for strength building more because you're damaging more? Is that maybe you need more rest time?
Well, the way my coach likes to lay it out is he says after 3 days in a row, you start to experience more central nervous system fatigue, and you also like start to build up, more dangerous levels of muscle and joint fatigue as well. So it's like that's where you start to hit the point where, you're not really getting as much as you could out of your workout after 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
Idiot question. What do you mean by central nervous fatigue?
You know what? He read my mind. He really first of all, no stupid questions, only stupid people. The central nervous system thing is something that I never considered until I started doing powerlifting, because what you'll notice as a powerlifter is after a deadlift day, that should really be probably your last workout before either your rest day or your accessory day or whatever, because like you are as a person a bit ruined.
Yeah.
What is that actually? Are we actually damaging ourselves? Like, is our brain stem just completely smashed, or what's going on?
Well, sometimes your central nervous system fatigue can accumulate faster than your muscular fatigue, especially at the higher levels. Is like, when you're a beginner, it's the other way around. It's like you do, 3 exercises for legs and you're wrecked the rest of the week. You're sore for like ever when you first start training legs. But then, after time, then you can start handling more with your muscles, but your recovery from your brain and your your immune system, it's just all, like your central nervous system and all its other functions that cascade off of it get affected by over exerting yourself, basically. So it's like when you put such a strain on your body to recover and build, and like, hey, I'm a caveman that just had to fight off a woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
And it's like I barely survived with my life. Now I have to come back stronger so I could fight that woolly mammoth again. Then that puts a big demand on your body. So it's like that's kind of what happens, 5 times a week when you work out in the gym.
What your grandfather so lovingly brought into our life is the term cheese brain.
Yeah.
Anytime, it's usually after a night of drinking, or I had it like the last time we were on a range when you're out in the sun all day. Your body is focusing so much of your calories, your blood, everything to your parts that are dying, because your brain is there for thinking. But once you've damaged your body so much that you're now at a state where your body thinks, if that woolly mammoth were to come back and bring some friends, we need to be ready for that. I don't need to think about something. We need to be ready. So that's where that whole concept of like you're dumber when you're tired that's why that's happening.
You got to tell them why it's called cheese brain, though.
I figured it's because of Swiss cheese.
So many holes.
Oh, yeah. I get it now.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so if you're doing heavy loads, hard hitting, you're like, we'll go and say, like, if you're a performance athlete, you're probably going to want to do, if not fewer days, maybe spread those rest days out more. So you don't do back, because like Saturday, Sunday is, we've all been to the gym. When is it dead? Friday night, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
There's no one there, because those are the times like we just take 2 days off in a row. So would it be more intelligent to say, I'm going to be doing hardcore shit. I'm getting ready to be a big, strong man, but I'm going to do 4 to 5 days a week. Should those rest days be sprinkled in, or is it okay to do them back to back and then just keep rolling into your week?
I think it's better to sprinkle them in, but if you can't and you have to do 5 in a row, then just do your 5 and then take your 2 rest days after.
Okay.
But then you have to prioritize which muscle groups you want to do first if you're doing so many in a row.
Okay.
So that's important. It's like, say you have a weak muscle group, like for me, my arms are a weak muscle group compared to my chest or my legs. So I have to prioritize that earlier in my week than later in my week.
If your arms are a weak point for you, that says some bad things for me. That's
and terrible things for me.
Well, I appreciate the.
We always talk about the
guys.
biceps are for dessert, and it's like Demitry doesn't like sweets. That's the one thing we've learned. So hypertrophy boys.
Yeah.
Where we are trying to pump that blood through. We're trying to break the muscle up. We're trying to grow big. Typically, we're probably going to want to get more days in, perhaps.
No. Because that can actually overdo it. So like if you're overstimulating your central nervous fatigue, and then you add in another day of lifting, then you're just digging yourself deeper into recovery, and you're not repairing enough to actually make progress.
All right.
So that's one of the things that my coach had me do, is he had me back down my volume when I started with him, as opposed to keep ramping it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep asking questions about this actually. So like, how much recovery time do you actually need on your central nervous system when you're like lifting heavy and frequently? So usually what happens is your muscles can sometimes take longer to recover than your central nervous system. Like your muscles can be fatigued from like 4 to 7 days, even if you overdo it a bunch, but your central nervous system, usually 1 or 2 days is needed to recover. And it's just like not training to failure, not training to like
performance maximum is like what I'm talking about. Like a lot of people don't even take a full rest day. They'll take like an active recovery day. They'll still go on a hike or do a yoga thing, so it's like you can still do something, but it's, having your 4 or 5 days a week where you're training explosively or training to failure, and then having the rest of your week to recover and then deload.
Is an active recovery day a problem for people who are maybe less experienced? Because I've been in those situations where, when I first started working out, I'm hitting it hard, I'm having a great time doing all this stuff, and then my friends were always like, oh, let's go hike a mountain, let's go do this, and cheese brain strikes. I'm having a bad time because I'm feeling shit. And also I felt like I got sick more often. Is that because I maybe wasn't ready for the active recovery days, or maybe because I was just not hydrating enough, maybe a combination of both?
Well, I would think if you're overdoing the hike, say if you weren't doing hikes normally and then you went on like a 3-hour hike, that could be overdoing it.
Yeah.
So that could be it. But I would say like an active recovery is like something that you do regularly.
Okay.
That's something for active recovery.
Also, a friend of mine who competes for, I think she's doing wellness division stuff these days. Very exciting for her. She is actually talking about the kind of the psychology behind her preparation. And she would always say that one of the things she always has to avoid for herself is punishing herself for making mistakes on her program. So like she would be going, she's doing great. And then she would end up having a cheat meal when she's not supposed to. And she would then punish herself by taking away a rest day and working out again. And in her experience, that did not help. It did not make anything better. It did not improve her performance or anything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting as a thought, because I think that sometimes, especially for people who are new and they're super charged up and are having a great time and they want to keep working out, as you so lovingly put into your workout plans on off days, you say like, rest day or active recovery or HIIT, I think is the 3 things you say. Mm-hmm. And I always think to myself like, okay, when 3-hour hike, perhaps not, unless you're like really, really on top of your shit and doing all this stuff. But if you're using every single rest day as we're going to go do half an hour to 45 minutes a HIIT, and maybe this,
I don't know about HIIT. That's probably not the best example.
Okay, not good. So HIIT's like, not good. So maybe like doing a stair mill or doing some walking.
Yeah. So I would say, something that you isn't going to put yourself in a state of recovery, but you could still burn calories, get the blood moving. The whole goal of the active recovery is to, loosen up your muscles and joints that are tight and get blood flowing so you can flush out that, pooling waste products and like blood and all that stuff in your cells, so that you can like keep the recovery process going and actually like speed it up.
So literally keeping the pipes clear. Like, you can't really it's like stretching. It's like doing yoga on your off days.
It's part of your stretching. It's part of your mobility work.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of cardio, one of the things that I always see, and this is big at our gym where everyone's like actually like on their business and doing all these stuff that's super high skilled and awesome. It seems like they're on the stair mill for every workout. Is that how it should be? Like, obviously if you're bulking or you're trying to get big and not lose any calories, you get to go and just be happy and live your life. But for the rest of us who want to slim down or try to shred, is that cardio at the beginning or the end of a workout something that is like, boom, like that should be on your list?
I think that cardio should be done at least like, twice a week for health reasons, for your heart and like cholesterol, just metabolism reasons, things like that. I don't think stair mill only is the best answer. I don't think treadmill incline only is the best answer. I think you should switch up your cardio routine similar to as you switch up your workouts, because you'll get used to doing the same thing over and over, just like your workouts. So it's like you have to, either change it up every session or add progression or do like phases of cardio so that you can, make adaptations to it and actually like have it burn enough calories. If you do the incline walking, you'll notice that after 2 months of doing it, your heart rate doesn't even get above 130 anymore.
The one of the things that was really good for me when I was doing CrossFit was every single time you go in, they would make you run a mile.
Right.
Like before you were even allowed to start your workout. And I kind of thought to myself, I was like, why am I doing this? We're about to do sprints for this workout anyways, this, and the other. And he just looked at me and he gave me like a very clear response. He was just like, everyone should be able to run a mile. like it's nothing. Like you should just be able to do that. Yeah. And I was kind of like, you're right. I hate that. I hate you. But it got to the point at that time, I definitely am not that way anymore, where it was like, I didn't even think about it. I would just roll in, I'd throw my shit down, I'd be like, can I just go run it now? Like if I run it right now, and then like everyone, he's like, well, you should wait for everyone else. I was like, I don't care. Like I just want to get, I'm already here. And he's like, just do your thing, man. Go run my mile and I'll be back.
You are absolutely a damn dirty liar. You still have trouble running a mile.
No, I can't really do that. First of all, 2 miles is where it gets bad. The 1.5 mile mark is where Demitry starts having problems. Yeah. I'm almost 99% sure it's psychosomatic at this point. I think my brain just decides that there's like, this is like right around the region.
You're like, now it's time to start hurting.
Well, because we do our running together and it's like mile, Demitry's cruising, this, that, and the other. Don't disrespect me. Just because you're starting to pull up on me doesn't mean.
Oh, I will absolutely disrespect you. My favorite day was the day where he just like went to failure and was like, okay,
I just stopped.
I'm walking it back, and I like slowed down and started walking with him. He's like, if you can finish, you finish, my dude. Like I can't.
I was super dehydrated. It was a really bad day. I just stopped, and my brain was just like, this is not happening today. And I was just like, I don't like you for this, and I'm never gonna live it down. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for bringing that trauma up for me. I'm glad someone's holding me accountable. But yeah, that. Everyone should be able to run at least a mile, that kind of thing. Yeah. So, but like you said, the reason he did that was because he wanted it to be like running a mile was nothing. Right. It was like if someone said, go run a mile, you'd be like, ugh, and you go do it. You flip your Crocs into sports mode and you go knock it out. But
good luck running a mile in Crocs. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like there's content there.
Yeah. We could try it out.
Demitry tries to beat Wes in about. No, I can't beat. If we gave Wes 2 minutes, he just had to stand and I run, he will still probably beat me.
No, Wes gets running shoes, Demitry gets Crocs, I get Heelys, we see who wins.
As long as you're on a downhill, I actually might put it on you. Yeah. But that is the problem though, when we're talking about trying to shred down. If your body gets used to the term muscle confusion, I don't think that gets brought up as much these days. It was really, really popular around the time of the anabolic window. Like everyone was always talking about muscle confusion. If you get used to your workout,
it's just a way that coaches use to sell programs. Like my program is cooler than everyone else's.
You have to buy it again
because I confuse your muscles more than everyone else.
I'll sell you this 3-month process, and guess what? Your muscles aren't confused anymore. I'm going to go and need another $50 so you can succeed.
Yes, you just need progression. That's what you need. Guys. Okay. Don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled.
Yes. All right, so what were we talking about? Cardio. Also,
well, actually, I've heard the term anabolic window like a million times before. Yeah. Do you guys just want to elaborate on that?
There is a previous episode about that. We've talked about it before. Essentially, what happened was everyone convinced ourselves that if we didn't drink protein within 30 minutes of finishing our workout, you died.
Whey protein isolate from Gold Standard.
Gold Standard exclusively, which they're... you died. You died. If you didn't do it, your muscles would fall off. You would die. They would
actually get smaller than they were before.
Exactly. Yes. And it was and Gold Standard used to be awesome. Their stuff has gone downhill. Yeah. I'm just gonna say it. But yeah, that is what an anabolic window is. It's essentially this pseudoscience thing that if you don't drink protein right after you work out, you are actually, it's better that you just didn't go to the gym. That was literally the thought process. It was very, very odd time and space.
Yes.
Wow, you guys actually put bro science to the test for once.
Well, it got tested over years.
Every day.
It took at least 5 years for people to break up with that idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you should be aware that every day I'm alive is a testament to putting bro science to the test. The fact that I am alive is putting bro science to the test.
That's your mission.
That's exactly. Wes is out here doing technical things, smart decisions. The fact that I get to make up every single morning shows that the bro science didn't work.
Yes.
So, but yes, the cardio. You don't need to do it every day, or you should.
Well, you can do it every day. I think doing our cardio challenge a few weeks ago showed that you could do it every day and not die.
Oh, that was a good point.
I would say you should build it up progressively, just like your workout training. So if you're starting a diet, start with the minimum amount of cardio you need to see progress. Then add either 10, 20 minutes in at a time or one session at a time. And then you will keep the calories burning.
Okay. And speaking of, doing something every day and the effort to see results, we were giving Sly some shit before the episode, talking about how if he did 10 sit-ups and about 10 push-ups a day, he would look like Brad Pitt from Fight Club. And then he brought up the point that the last time that he was consistently working out, he was doing abs. If he was in the gym, abs were occurring.
Okay.
Usually at the end. Yeah. Just so you make sure you have something bad to look forward to. Do you think that abs should be done every day? Because I actually don't see a problem with it. I mean, as long as it's not affecting your other workouts.
If you're from like a maintenance or like standpoint, yeah, you could do abs every day. But if you're trying to increase their size, which we've talked about, you know, if it's one thing to have the level of body fat, but two, you have to actually grow the ab muscles to be able to see them. You know, like I have clients that are 10% body fat and you can't even see their abs because they don't have any built.
Okay.
So it's like you have to actually, you know, condition them like other muscles. So it's like, yes, you can maintain your abs doing them every day and, you know, make some progress. But if you want to build them and strengthen them, you know, over the long term and significantly, you have to have rest days on that too.
Yeah.
So what I do and what my coach has me do is abs one day, next day calves, next day abs, calves, rotate every other day, and then do it all workout days.
Now, you actually did bring this up on a previous episode. I don't think I actually asked you about it, was the calves thing. I am blessed in the calves department. I have things that I don't deserve. So calves every other day for you. Mm-hmm. So it's not just a leg day thing. It's kind of like abdominals. It's another.
Try not to do it on leg day, actually.
You did say that, didn't you? Yeah. So because it almost is, you can't focus on the calves because your legs are shot.
Yeah, my legs are too fatigued to do them properly.
Okay.
On leg day.
So what he's saying is, if you can do calves into your leg workout, just turn it around, start over.
So is that just like calf raises? What do you actually do when you do calves?
He just does the
I do
ballerina
a lot
poses.
of so I'll do one day where I go on a failure set on the seated calf raise, and then I'll finish with like really slow like reps and like pauses for the leg press. And then I'll do the stand-in machine calf raise to failure the next day, and then I'll finish with machine leg press again. So it's like I'm doing like 5-second holds at the back and then pushing forward, 5-second hold, push forward on the leg press.
And then he just tiptoes and pirouettes everywhere.
Yeah, that sounds like ass.
It does sound like ass.
It hurts a lot, but I've seen calf growth and progress since I started doing it in January.
That is facts. I actually, I saw a shirt and I was actually going to just order a shirt and buy you one too. And it was just going to, I think it was like Team No Calves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't even really funny for Wes anymore. It's almost like calling someone out on something that's not true. Where it's like, yeah, my fat friend lost all this weight and now I can't make fat jokes anymore. It's like kind of really taking out a whole section of our relationship.
It's like that dynamic.
Until the end of the episode.
Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
Right. Oh, great.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of, let's go and take a quick break. And we will be right back to explain more to you about how you should be at the gym for 8 hours at a time.
Yes. Beats.
And a word from your sponsors. Guys, are you following us on YouTube? Have you subscribed? Have you liked? Because I feel like you may have not, and you're kind of doing yourself a disservice.
You're doing us a disservice.
You're doing yourself a disservice. Look at yourself in the mirror right now and ask yourself why you aren't doing the things that are going to improve your life. And it's because I love you and we're here for you. Also, the podcast, you guys have still been doing that. We're very happy with that. Keep doing that. Tell your friends about it. Tell your mom, tell your dad. It's Mother's Day as we're recording this, so you should definitely be letting your mom know, hey, Mom, do you want to have a better lifestyle? I know exactly the place to send you. BNS Radio. That is BNS_radio on YouTube. It is on the podcast. It is on Instagram. You can find me at Demitry Sebastian.
You can find me at WKendall_MFT.
And guess what? Wes has actually been stepping his game up on the Instagram, posting lots of fun stuff, telling you how to be a better person. You're going to be smarter, you're going to be sexier, and you're just going to be better overall.
Yes, so check out our page. Please leave us your questions and also give us some feedback. Give us the like and subscribe button too.
Ding,
ting,
ding,
ting.
Whatever side it's on. Ting. And we're going to go ahead and get back to the show.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, so that covers a lot of building your calendar. You know, we got into the, workout schedule, how many days a week, rest days on, working out every day or taking a few days off, cardio, like where to start, and, how much should you do as a minimum, and then building into that. And then, of course, you got to maintain and stay on top of your muscles. We just talked about that with, why you want to do cardio. So also, you have to, focus on stretching, stay on top of your mobility.
Whoa, Wes. As someone who can't touch his toes, I'm feeling that...
That's a danger sign right there.
Whoa.
Yes.
Now I actually am concerned. You can't touch your toes? That's a danger?
Yes, that is. You're at risk.
I've been at risk since the day I was born.
At risk for what? My hamstrings are so fucking tight.
Yeah, my hamstrings are like this long.
Well, if your hamstrings are overly tight, then you're going to tear a groin or a quad muscle.
He says that. I actually tore my groin. doing a foot race.
Yes.
I did not win. Was not worth it. But I straight up tore my groin, and that's probably why.
Yes. That makes a lot of sense. I mean.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and stop. Stretching.
Yes.
It's supposed to be happening. Most trainers probably have it somewhere on their workout plan.
Yeah.
Actually,
they don't want to get sued, yeah. So it's like, you know.
That's a good
if
point.
you want to quote Zombieland, have you ever seen a lion stretch before it hunts a gazelle?
And then someone shot that down for me, and they were literally like, what does a lion do all day? And I'm like, sleep and stretch. They just lay around, stretch. I'm like, you're right.
What does your cat do all day? Does he stretch?
Stretches, lays.
Quinn, do you stretch all day?
Quinn,
sleeping.
she's sleeping. She's not. Yeah, she is not an athletic specimen.
Okay.
So so we're supposed to stretch. Quick question before we get into stretching. Of all your clients, all of them, what percentage do you think actually do their stretching they're supposed to do?
Okay, here we go. All right, so I have a client, and he's been on my story a lot. He's shout out to my boy David, who's a beast. He's getting after it, lost a ton of body fat, got shredded. Now he's bulking up for getting ready for a show at the end of the year. So
Love that.
He actually would always be showing up a little bit late and like skipping the warm up, which is a dynamic stretch.
Yeah.
And he did that for like a couple months, and then we were doing like a back motion where you had to like, it's a bent over row, and you have to keep tight legs, arch back, stuff like that. And he actually pulled a back muscle because he was so tight in his legs from not stretching.
Fair.
So, yeah.
Okay, actually, fun fact. I'm just going to expose myself right now in my not stretching and not drinking enough water sometimes. Different. So I'm asleep, middle of the night. Cat decides that it's go time. Like we gotta go to war with whatever's happening.
Yeah.
And she's hitting every wall. I wake up and I kind of like snap awake, and my calf just goes in like a freaking knot, like like one of the most painful calf knots I've ever had in my life. I'm like, oh my god, like I couldn't go to sleep for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself like, why God? Why is this happening to me? Why? What have I done? I'm in just this immense amount of pain. I realized to myself, I was like, oh, I did not drink any water the day before, and then I'm constantly reminded that did I actually stretch in the last 26 years?
No.
The answer is maybe like 4-5 times, and Wes was there to actually like call me out on it.
Well, like Wes knows way more about this than I do, so definitely give me your professional opinion, because I heard that like stretching, not necessarily before like leg day, but like running was actually worse because it like made it easier to roll an ankle.
Excellent question.
Good question. So the type of stretching is what is important. It's the static stretching, which is like where you just hold your arm across and hold for 35 seconds. That stretching is actually bad to do before a athletic event or, set, whatever you're doing, because it actually fatigues the muscle and it relaxes it too much. You need a certain amount of muscle tightness to be able to like quickly activate and go from, it's like your bike chain on your bike. You don't want it so loose that when you start cranking, nothing happens. You want it tight enough that as soon as you move it, you're turning those spokes.
So what's a good stretch then?
So it's called dynamic stretching, which is like, when you're the 5-star warm up that we always do, where we do like our lunges and, do our inchworm drill, things like that, where we're moving through proper range of motion and then holding very briefly and then relaxing those stretch positions.
It's like an old car during winter. You got to warm it up. You idle it. What is idling? You're running the engine at a low level, so it kind of like dum 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 dum. And it's kind of what a dynamic stretch is. It's you're preparing the body to do something. And it is funny that you mentioned that, because common knowledge for years was static stretching.
Our high school coaches all told us to do that. And
you're supposed to
wrestling was
pull the calf, like do a deep lunge, sit in it, do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you throw a leg across, all of that stuff. And it's not that doing that will injure you always. But what you're doing is you're kind of playing with fire, especially if you're trying to really perform. And it's the same thing as like if you're going to be like go on like an explosive sprint versus a long steady run. If you do static stretching and go on a steady run, you might end up tight, or you might end up kind of like not feeling too good, and it just doesn't kind of work out right. But if you're gonna like go straight to like an explosive run or a squat or something where you're going like firing on all pistons, like you said, that loose chain. Imagine if you got into a loose chain bike and just be like, and like just like try to go right off. It's gonna get all tangled up, and things are not gonna feel good at all.
Yeah, you have to prime the muscle, not relax it.
Is from like last episode, would stuff like plyos and all of that stuff fall into something that could be considered like dynamic stretching? That maybe doing some push-ups, doing some lunges, that kind of stuff fall under the dynamic stretch umbrella?
I don't know if push-ups per se, but some of that stuff would. Like anything that's going to take you through like your proper range of motion could be considered like a good dynamic stretch. I mean, that's why we do like those side lunges. We're going from forward to back, side to side, and then, back to front. So
okay.
Different motions like that.
And you're trying to hit a lot of those supporting players in the lift. Like the insides of your groin, your hips, stuff like that, the failure points, as it were.
Well, yeah, it's like you don't want any of those smaller muscles to be like holding up your range of motion and causing you to do the wrong path, on like your squat or your bench press or whatever. Because if that's the case, say you do have tight traps in your neck and you're trying to press with your elbows in, it's going to cause you to like hunch and bring your elbows up, which can cause you to tear something.
Good point. I didn't even think of that. If you're tight in a muscle group, it's going to affect how you're going to compensate.
Right.
You're going to start doing things that are dumb because your body doesn't want to move that way.
Whether you want to or not, it force you to do that bad range of motion.
Like with squatting, you see it all the time. People who don't have like ankle flexibility. People who do the CrossFit. If you don't have the wrist flexibility to do a front squat and then a push up, you're going to do these weird things. Your body's going to try and get around it. It's just going to try and circumvent it. And all you're doing is getting out of proper form and setting yourself up to get injured.
Yes. It's actually why I refuse to go to the gym by myself, is because I know my form is fucking bullshit.
Well, you got two people here that want you to come. You're surrounded by love. So it's sounding like you should probably be doing dynamic stretching before every workout.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you should do some type of warm-up to get loose and to flush the body. I personally like doing the dynamic warm-up because I feel like it keeps me from getting overly tight. It minimizes the amount of extra tissue work I have to do outside of the gym, like the after the gym type of stretching.
Okay, glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Cool downs.
Yes.
Another thing that I don't like to do because I wrap up and I'm like, cool, kind of feels like I'm done.
Yeah.
Is a cool down necessary? Is a cool down stretch? And usually people these days, when they do a cool down stretch, that's the static ones.
Yeah. Well, I think that if you have a troubled muscle group, so say like a lot of us are working from desks or working at home or in an office, we get a lot of tightness and pain in our shoulders, elbows, chest, things like that. And that's from like staying forward and typing and leaning, being in that frontward position. And if that's the case, then you probably have overly tight traps or chest muscles. And what you have to do is like spend extra days of the week stretching those muscles out. So that could be like a cool down after like chest day, or after leg day when everyone gets super sore. A good cool down would be like going for a slow walk after.
The walk is something that I have implemented because legs are one of those things for me. It's like it's 2 days later and I'm paying the price, and then I finally stop being sore and it's another leg day.
Right.
And I could probably make my life a little better if I was just willing to take that walk kind of deal.
Yeah.
All right, Demitry, you promised. It's the end of the episode. Tell me about your Instagram shit.
Oh my God.
We've been waiting.
Real quick, did want to touch on one thing. How long we're going to go and take the phone out of the equation. You're not on Instagram the whole time, me. Some people say that an hour, no more than an hour. Some people are there for like 2 to 3. What is an appropriate amount of time? We're saying you are working the entire time.
Yeah.
What's too much?
Too much what? Time on your phone?
Any amount. Too much time at the gym.
I would say, well, you don't want to have it cut into your eating, time. So it's like, I guess like if you have,
expecting.
I don't think
you can be at the gym as long as it's not cutting into the amount of time you're eating.
Yeah, that has a clear cap right there. So it's like, you don't want to be in there more than 3 hours. So that for sure you don't want that.
What? Of all the answers I expected, it's just like, you're right. As long as it's not cutting into the rest of your life.
That answer could only come from somebody who works at a gym, though.
Yeah.
That is true.
Okay, I'll give you more guidelines than that. How about this? I think that you need at least 45 minutes to get a good workout.
Okay.
unless you're in the very, very highest of levels. Then you probably need more than that.
Okay.
And then from there, that's not including cardio and stretching. So I think for me personally, I need 2 hours for my complete workout. That includes warm up, that includes like calves or abs, like I talked about. That includes the muscle I'm training, and that includes 20 to 30 minutes of cardio. So 2 hours.
Okay. So 2 hours is for someone who's really getting the whole.
Well, they're doing the whole thing that we just talked about: the stretching, the abs and calves, the workout, and the cardio.
Okay. Love that. Because that's about the amount of time I'm there. What's funny is when you're with your a trainer, you guys are so good at using time. Because every time I actually work out with you when you're doing like your trainer stuff, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh my god, it's been 30 minutes and we have gotten so much more done than I do in like 2 hours. And the thing is, the workout is catered to that. It's not like he's sitting out there, he's like, Demitry, here's your max on deadlift, figure it out. Like, and we're going to do this 18 times. It's like different. If you're powerlifting, trying to do hit PRs, like that's different.
Yeah.
But if you're kind of like doing, high intensity, lower weight, trying to break some muscle, you can do it fast. It's like there's people, and I hate them, who are able to actually get workouts done like during their lunch hour. Like there's a guy I used to work out
fast as hell.
There was a guy I worked out with who was like, he was just a sex symbol. He is what it is. Just like some freaking amazing Mediterranean blood had made his way all the way down to him, and he was just super built. And when he worked out at lunch, and I was like, dude, why don't you just work out after work? And he's like, oh, that's when I run. I was just like, you shithead. Like, this is the worst.
Didn't I tell you about that? Like, I worked at a dude when I was selling furniture, and he worked 12 hours a day every single day, worked out on his lunch break, and then after work, he would go for a run. Fucking disgusting.
Some people are built different.
Why do you live? Like, what's your end game there?
There is the end game is the game.
Well, it's like a lot of people who are super into it like that, I think it's because they're, they used to have some other addiction or some other hobby that they were completely consumed into. Yeah. And it's like, you'd be surprised how many opium or heroin addicts are now like bodybuilders, because it's like they go from that to like now obsessively consumed with bodybuilding.
It's an addictive person. It's the same way that people can get addicted to video games, get addicted to pornography. Like some people just have the personality, and also there's other people that it's like I am on the record saying the runner's high is a lie. I've been told I'm wrong. I am wrong. But there are, same thing with working out. There is a high, there's an endorphin hit for doing that. And some people, they get that, it feels good, and that is their drug. And the only way you can get it is by going and kicking ass. And honestly, jealous. Super jealous.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
They get rewarded mentally and, and I guess psychologically from adhering to their routine, and from also from, making progress in their craft. And then a lot of people don't talk about this, but from I guess it makes you feel kind of more superior and better than people who don't do that, because you're like, some disciplined monk who is, trying to be perfect in one and in line with the body and mental strength. And then, someone who doesn't do anything like that, they're like, can feel better than. You know what I mean? So that's where a lot of that comes
whatever, from. Helps you sleep at night, you know? I mean, whatever makes you happy, as long as you're not a bag of ass.
Right.
Now, Slias, I do want to know this story.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in what happened at the gym. And this does apparently tie into what we were talking to back a couple episodes ago.
Yes.
So go and share your experience at the good old Indy.
Oh, so the other week, I noticed there's this commotion at the front desk, and there's a bunch of people this workout crew together, and I was inquiring what's going on. I asked the front desk guy, I was like, what's all the excitement about? And he's like, oh, there's this group of girls here, and they're this famous YouTube channel, and it's I guess they're these fitness chicks, and they one of the girls is really strong. She's I don't know if she's a power lifter or not, but she was bench repping the 185 on flat bench, which for a girl is very impressive.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, so they were.
It's very impressive for a guy. What the fuck?
It is not very impressive for a guy, but
I mean, the average guy. I don't know if the average guy could
do that.
I think that the bench line for a guy, and again, this is maybe my toxic masculinity coming out, but I feel like once you hit 225, you get a seat at the table.
Well, yeah, that may be where the respect points begin to be earned. But I think if you went and grabbed a random 35-year-old off the street and stuck him under the bench press,
you're right. You're right.
185.
I hold myself to a separate standard. As if you should, if you can, hold yourself to a standard where it's like, if I get to a point where I'm like, I can't do 225, I'm like, and I am needing to get back onto doing my chest. That's stuff like that.
That's like 80 more pounds than I actually weigh.
We can work on that. So okay, so she's strong though.
Yeah.
Is she like the main person?
I think so.
Okay.
There was like, she had a crew of other girls that were also in very, I guess, stylish fit outfits.
Like are they all wearing like the? It's from some brand. They're wearing the same color top, same color bottom.
Yeah, they're like
Lululemon.
No,
I mean,
see,
it was like
it's
they're
not
all
Lululemon.
like some random like Instagram brand.
It's always like we're talking like
promoting,
like the Buff Bunnies, the Gymsharks of the world, stuff like that. Like they're popular brands, but you're not going to see them like in a store.
Lulu's for like the average
Fear Factor thing.
No,
I feel like Demitry, you would like this a lot because it was Joe Rogan. It was just like, all right, you're an Instagram influencer. You have to like a meme about pronouns. Go. It's like, can't I just eat bull testicles?
It's like, oh no.
I honestly, when you got 1 million fans on the line, you better believe I'm towing that party. If my beliefs go right out the window when it's that. Okay, so we got this crew.
Yeah.
She's strong. They're all wearing weird matching outfits.
Yeah.
I'm sure they all had great discount codes all tied to their name. Freaking
tagging everything.
Jennifer 50.
Yeah.
It's actually Jennifer 10. You're only getting 10% off.
Yeah, 50. That's very steep.
Okay, so we've set the stage.
Yeah.
What time of the day? Is this a busy time?
This was like, I want to say it was Friday afternoon or Saturday, like midday.
Okay, so not like a hot day too much. Okay. Can't have people stepping in your shots.
No, it was good. Yeah. So, I mean, it was interesting. I feel like there's this crowd where a lot of these influencers are very supported, even though they may not look the part, but they're still like influencers for the fitness industries. You know what I mean?
Were they like trying to make a statement by coming in together, or?
Actually, glad you brought that up. Indie, not so much these days. It sounds like they're making a comeback. Was kind of a place where influencers would go. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know that because they go to LA Fitness or whatever. But there are gyms across the US, and everyone knows about like what's the one in California? Why am I forgetting it?
Which one?
The one with the wall. The green wall. Gold Gym, yeah. Gold Gym, stuff like that.
Green wall.
That like influencers go because they can get pictures or they can go network there. Now, I like your wording, very careful. And it was, which the PR person, me, you're getting a gold star. So what's interesting is I do like that there are people that don't fit into what could be considered the standard, what like a Fitspo should look like. Mm-hmm. I think that we should be able to have other people on the spectrum. The good news for this one sounds like she was like super strong, but it sounds like... Did you think it was a little bit weird though? Like, was it like you kind of were wondering why do 1 million people follow them, for what reason? Is that kind of the vibe you were getting?
I think they get a lot more support than they would normally get because it's like considered brave or considered like, you're doing a good thing for the movement. Okay.
Now I'm seeing where you're coming from. What? Just say it. You wanted this.
I hate that so much. No, don't do that.
Well, I actually think it's an interesting discussion to be made because...
No, because you and we watched that video like a week ago. It was this really fat dude. He probably weighed like 300 pounds doing ninja shit, like backflips.
Oh, yeah.
All the, that jazz. And it's just like, wow, that's really impressive, but you should stop doing that because your joints are going to blow out.
Yeah, that was my immediate thought, was his joints. And it's interesting because there's a line to be written of like, are you being an asshole and saying like, because there is especially in recent history, mm-hmm. where it was like, if you don't look perfect, you're not allowed to like be here. Like you can't sit with us.
Yeah. But
also it's like, if you're going to be not fit the mold, you have to be something else. So if you come in and you say,
explain that better.
I'm getting there. If you're going to be, I don't look the part, but I'm hella strong. That's my thought on it. Because I don't like when people show up and they're just like, love yourself for who you are. Everyone should look up to me. It's like, okay, first of all, yes, love that for you. But the problem for me is people who are unhealthy, who are like, yes, love myself for who I am. And it's like, you haven't been to a doctor in 2 years because you don't want to know what they're going to say. And I think there's a fine line there that can be had, because you'll notice there's not a lot of fat guys Fitspos.
There's zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there really zero?
Well, okay. It's
Zero
interesting.
successful ones.
It's interesting that you say that. The only fat ones are strongmen.
That's actually
They are fat, but what are they? Super strong.
That's all they cater to.
Exactly.
They're not trying to be health coaches.
Right. And there was an interesting where I knew this girl who was from like freaking North Dakota or something, and it was funny because they have nutritionists there, like state nutritionists, and she showed me a really funny picture, and it was like, this is recommended by this nutritionist, and it was a highly overweight person was the nutritionist. And I'm like, can we like preach a little bit? Can we like live a little bit what we preach, just like this much? And that's where things is like, you know, it's the joke of don't trust skinny chefs, you know.
That's why Dimitri's been hitting the gym so hard lately,
dude. Yes. Exactly what you're right.
Well, that's good. I think we should all try and like set the example for others on, you know,
exactly. I think that is cool. I think that's cool. I think people should try. I think that you shouldn't not do something because you think that you don't fit the mold. I would love to see a fat guy who has a social media presence, but he's like doing what he's supposed to, and you'd be shocked to see he probably isn't fat by the end of the thing. That's the problem, is that if he is living, because there's a lot of there's this guy Fat to Fit, I think is his whole thing. Like he was just like a big old chunk, and now he's like a pretty I think he's actually very fit dude if I remember correctly. But it's really hard to preach a healthy lifestyle and not look healthy.
Well, I think it's like, that's if you can, the whole what is it to be a hero? The definition is to find a problem and fix it. Yeah. And then not only that, but show other people how to benefit or do it themselves. So that's like what a real hero is as a person. So it's like, that's what I think should be the focus for a lot of these people. I think you can be a Fitspo or a, influencer, but if you have to like show them how you did your journey and actually do your journey. And then from there, you can inspire and guide and help other people.
I like that you said that, because I think in the like AA, Narcotics Anonymous world, like the guys who like really crush it with helping people are like former addicts. Like I like trainers and inspiring people who came from like a bad spot and then got to a good spot, because it's really easy to be born awesome. Because you just like, some people just came into a genetic lottery and they've just been beautiful and strong forever, and they're just body's receptive to it. They've always eaten healthy, this and the other. It's like I want to know somebody who's like come from the dirt. Like David Goggins, I bring him up multiple times. Like if you look, he was just like a fat pest exterminator loser guy who didn't have anything going on in his life. And then he got hella strong, became a Navy SEAL, got like the pull-up record. And now I'm like, yeah, this guy can tell me whatever he wants about how freaking hard I should be working and how like I shouldn't sleep, and if you're not done yet, you need to finish this, that, and the other. And then I've got Gary Vee over here telling me to buy his freaking NFT. It's like, let's compare who I'm going to listen to more closely.
Right.
It's just, if you want to be taken seriously, do something.
Agreed.
Right? Do you agree?
Oh, not just agreed. Like, I will endorse that emphatically.
So that means, what does that mean? Tuesday, gym, we're going to start seizing life.
Can we do
it's on the YouTube channel now. Can we do chess? Yeah, we do whatever you want. I will cater my workout to you.
Okay, we can do chest on Tuesday.
Love that for you, SpongeBob. Well, okay, let's go and wrap up for the day. Thank you as always for joining us. YouTube channel, subscribe, like, podcast, like it, leave a comment. 5 stars. Would love that.
Yes. Thank you.
Instagrams, Demitry Sebastian.
WKendall_MFT. Questions, comments. Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye. All right, good job. That was good.